That's Leslie.
That's Christy.
And we're going indie. So today we're going to be talking about newsletters versus social media, and mostly like how you connect to people differently, whether it's through your newsletter or through your social media. And Leslie, I'm going to let you kick this conversation off because this is like the main thing you've got. You've got a flash fiction magazine, which we'll talk about in another episode, but this is mainly how you're connecting with people because you don't have a book out yet.
Right. So, and it is different. My social media, let's just be clear, first of all, is Instagram and Facebook. I have a Twitter account and a Pinterest account. I don't know how to use either one very well, so I'm not there. And even between Facebook and Instagram could be different even a little bit. But for the most part, with social media, I'm connecting with I'm trying to grow my audience and get to know new people. And my newsletter is a different connection. I think it's more personal, and those people have been with me for a minute, maybe not. Maybe they're new. Maybe they came over from Instagram. But those are kind of how I'm connecting with those in those two places.
I would say mine is very similar. So like when I'm on social media, I'm very much looking for like, how do I connect to not just new people, but maybe it's a soft connection, people who are kind of interested, people who are wanting to get a feel for what type of book would I get if I read your book? Like, what am I going to, I'm trying to make sure what I present on social media is going to give you the vibe of what you're going to get when you pick up a book from me. Like, it's very much the feel of it that I'm trying to get going there. And on the newsletter side, it's like, okay, you're already in the camp. You're already bought in to the Christiane Hunter vibe. Like, you like it. You want a piece of it. You want to make sure you stay connected to it. So I feel like newsletters are that it's a more solid connection, so like in the real life situation, it's versus, do you have my Instagram handle or do you have my phone number? Can you actually text me directly? Right. Versus can you only contact me through like, we've got some third party separation there. I feel like that's the difference kind of on a fan basis is, do I have a just a superficial connection where you have to come to me? Because on social media, they kind of have to come to you. Versus newsletter, you get to go to them. You get to show up in their inbox. And so I do think there is a difference in the connection you get with your readers and people versus in social media versus newsletter. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that social media for me is a lot about that branding thing, and like, is somebody coming? Why would somebody want to be like follow me on social media? But with the newsletter, I feel like that they've come to me already, and they know I'm going to give them something, good. I'm giving them a good resource for something. Right. And we're forming some kind of relationship. And even I know that I have like we were saying, so I have a Facebook profile, a Facebook author page, and a Facebook group. I think you have all those too. And then Instagram, you just have the one. I just have the one thing. And I share differently sometimes in my profile, especially about family stuff that I might also share, in another place. So my connection would be maybe a little more deep with those people that are a newsletter follower. They're more like, I kind of see them like kind of like a profile person, somebody that right. I have that.
And part of it is because your social media is public. Like, if you're trying to get people, your social media has got to be public. I mean, if you're an author and your social media is still private, you need a second account that can be public. Yeah. But we'll talk about that in a whole different social media episode.
Well, yeah, that always shocks me though. Like, what are you doing?
But like, it's public. It's out there. Anybody can find it. Whereas the newsletter, well, still anybody can sign up for my newsletter. I'm not like gatekeeping that. There's no application process for it. It still feels a little bit more controlled. And I will say the other big thing, and this is something, we had a friend that recently lost her Instagram account for a while. You can't lose your newsletter list. Like, that's yours. That's not, you're not going to randomly, lose that to something. I mean, like, I guess your newsletter account could get hacked or something, but I don't usually hear about that happening very often. It's more like your social media gets hacked, or you get reported for something and suddenly you have no access, and there is someone else controlling your access to your social media followers, but your newsletter list is yours. Like, you can take it to another newsletter provider and keep sending out emails. That
Yeah.
list is yours. And I think there's something to be said for that in this day and age where things like suddenly go poof.
Yeah. And on that same note, when you send your newsletter out, I mean, sometimes it does go to spam or promotions or whatever, but it goes to the person that you want it to go to. And you're just beholden to the algorithm on whatever social media site you're
Yes.
using. And that's not the same thing. That's not, you can't have that. I mean, I guess you can DM people, but that would be weird at that level.
Yes. So if you're an author, get in the comments, tell us the difference you find between the people you connect with on your newsletter versus the people you connect with on your social media. And if you're a reader, which way do you like connecting? Which way do you prefer to connect? Because I know that it's different people that contact me a lot on social media versus a newsletter. I think that there is people who definitely have a preference. So hop in the comments and tell us what your experience has been.